In this particular video, we will look into the details of monocot seeds as well as we will look into some symbols which are used in the floral formula. Now, talking of the monocot seeds, an example of monocot seed is the maize, and as the seeds have three parts, the outermost part is the seed coat, the second part is the embryo, and third part is the endosperm which can be present or which can be absent. Starting with the first part, that is the seed coat. Now, in the case of monocot seed, the seed coat is membranous, and in the case of monocot seed, important character is that this particular seed coat is fused with the fruit wall. So, seed coat and fruit wall will be fused. So, we can say that pericarp and testa will be fused in the case of monocot seeds. This condition is not found in dicot seeds. Now, below the seed coat, there will be embryo. Embryo in the case of monocot seed will be small in size and it will be situated in a groove at one end of endosperm. In this particular diagram, we can see that this particular structure, this whole structure is the endosperm, and the remaining structure which is present, that is actually the embryo. Now, embryo has two parts. The first part is the embryonal axis and the second part is the cotyledon. Now, since it is a monocot seed, so number of cotyledon will be 1 and the cotyledon will be characterized by shield shape. So, shield shape cotyledon is a characteristic of monocot seed, and in this case the cotyledon is called as scutellum. Then there will be embryonal axis. Embryonal axis has two parts. The first part is called as plumule and the second part is called as radicle. Plumule gives rise to the stem, radicle gives rise to the root. Now, this plumule, it will be enclosed in a sheath and the sheath is called as coleoptile, and radicle will be enclosed in sheath and that particular sheath is called as coleorhiza. In this particular diagram, as we saw that this whole part was the endosperm, the remaining part was the embryo, and this embryo, this shield shaped cotyledon, it is the scutellum. After this, talking of the embryonal axis. Now, in this embryonal axis, the part which will give rise to the stem was plumule. The part which will give rise to the root was radicle, and plumule is covered by a sheath and sheath is called as coleoptile, as well as radicle is also covered by a sheath and that sheath is called as coleorhiza. Now, talking of the third part, that is endosperm. In the case of monocots, endosperm is generally present. So, there will be very less monocot plants in which endosperm is absent, and an example of monocot plant in which endosperm is absent, that is non-endospermic case, it is orchids. Now, generally endosperm is present, it will be bulky as seen in the diagram and it will store the food. There will be one more important structure present in the case of monocot seeds, and that particular structure is called as eleuron layer. Now, eleuron layer is the layer which separates the endosperm from the embryo. Now, in this case, we can see that this dotted structure. So, this is the eleuron layer, and this is in fact proteinaceous layer, and it will separate endosperm from the embryo. After this, finally, coming to different symbols that we use in floral formula. The first symbol that we talk about, we write it as BR or EBR. Now, in the case bracts are present, that is the condition is bracteate, then we will write BR, and if bracts are absent, that is abracteate condition, in that case we will write it as EBR. After this, the four whorls are given. The four whorls are calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Now, since both calyx and corolla start with the letter C, so while giving the symbol, we do not write calyx by C, we write it by K letter. So, in corolla, we will use the letter C, the first letter, but in the case of calyx, we will use the letter K. Now, in the case of calyx, if K refers to calyx, now the number of calyx can vary, and the number of calyx we write it here. So, if there are 5 numbers of sepals, we will write it as K5. So, that is how N comes here. Now, we talked that in the case of calyx, these can be fused or these can be free. If these are fused, then we put a bracket around here, and if these are not fused, we do not put a bracket around it. So, the fused condition will obviously be gamosepalous and the free condition will be polysepalous. The same thing applies for corolla as well. For corolla, we use the letter C. For the number of corolla or the petals, we use N. And if these petals are free, that is, the condition is polypetalous, we leave it like this without putting the brackets. And if the condition is gamopetalous, we put bracket around this particular N. After this, there can be a condition in which calyx and corolla are not distinct. If calyx and corolla are not distinct, then the condition is called as perianth, and in this case, we will use the letter P for perianth. After calyx, corolla, we come to the third whorl, that is the androecium. Androecium is depicted by the symbol A, and if the androeciums are free, the stamens are free, we do not put the bracket, and if stamens are united, we put the bracket around A. If we talk of the gynoecium, then in the case of gynoecium, we use the letter G, and the number of carpels which are present, that is represented by N. Now, if the carpels are free, that is, the condition is apocarpus, we do not put the bracket, and if carpels are united, condition is syncarpus, we put the bracket around it. After this, the ovary can be superior, the ovary can be inferior. So, if the ovary is superior, that is, ovary is present over all the rest 3 whorls, then we put a dash below the G part, and this means that the ovary is superior. And if the ovary is inferior, we put a dash above the G symbol. After this, coming to the symbols for unisexual or bisexual conditions. If the condition is unisexual, it will be male or it will be female. Now, if it is male, it is represented by this particular symbol, and if it is female, it is represented by this particular symbol. Now, there can be flowers which are bisexual, that is, same flower has androecium as well as the gynoecium part. Both male and female parts are present in the same flower, and the condition is called as bisexual, in which we will combine these two symbols. So, this is the symbol which represents the bisexual part. Then, coming to the symmetry. The first will be actinomorphic, that is similar to radial symmetry. The second will be zygomorphic. The symbol for actinomorphic is this. So, this means we can divide the flower into 2 equal parts by any plane that passes through the center of the flower. The second condition is the zygomorphic condition. In the case of zygomorphic condition, we represent it by this particular symbol, and zygomorphic was the case similar to bilateral symmetry, in which only one plane that passes through center of the flower will divide it into 2 equal parts. After this, finally coming to the 2 conditions, that is epipetalous and epiphyllous. So, epipetalous condition was the condition in which androecium or the stamens, these were joined to the petals, and for petals we use the term C. So it will be androecium, which is joined to the petal or the corolla part, and we represent it by this particular symbol. So it will be symbol like this. Then the second condition is epiphyllous. In the case of epiphyllous condition, androecium or stamens will be joined to the perianth, and we use a curved line like this. So this condition will be epiphyllous condition.